With the topic of regional travel at the epicenter of discussions in the Caribbean, it is important to understand exactly how this initiative has and possibly might be implemented. Renowned economist Richard Peterkin provides a general understanding by examining the details of this recently proposed initiative and the implementation of an inter-Caribbean ferry service. Peterkin, via his contacts within the region, outlines this program's practicality and facilitation.
As we all know, the Prime Minister of Trinidad indicated that he's in discussions with the Prime Minister of Guyana and Barbados in respect of a regional ferry between those three countries. Well, it turns out that Barbados, by the way, said they made no such commitment, so it's really just Trinidad and Guyana. And that really is being driven by food security. That's the main issue for that ferry, because Guyana is going to be the breadbasket of CARICOM, and clearly the ability to distribute, the goods and to get the inputs in and the production out requires better shipment between the countries. So, as it is now, they have decided that ferry is the way to go. And Trinidad knows about ferries because they have ferry service with Tobago, and they just bought a brand new ferry to replace their old one. And this ferry came from Singapore, but it's actually manufactured in China.
The Economist evaluates an initiative proposed regarding a private sector ferry service, working in tandem with Caribbean islands to promote connectivity.
The private sector is looking at 3 vessels to operate the services, which includes an 800-passenger cruise ship, a 400-passenger fast ferry, and a dedicated cargo vessel. They're saying it's going to cost about $50 million to launch phase 1 of their service. That's a lot of money. Now, they have 4 divisions, and there appear to be the involvement in one of those divisions by people from China, which again is interesting, because if you look at Guyana, Trinidad, Barbados, they all have relations with China. China is the one now making these ferries. Some of them are made in Singapore, but clearly they have the ability to make them quickly, perhaps get the best price. So that's fine. The group is basically saying they're talking about an estimated figure for the ferries of about $100 per passenger. Now that is so much better than it costs now to be flying on the planes, that we have. But that call for a ferry service has become louder because of the demise of LIAT, and clearly since COVID, the problem with interregional travel, which has reduced our arrivals from the Caribbean down to like 7%.
For a Caribbean ferry service to truly be successful, Peterkin acknowledges that there are prerequisites and accessibility features that must be accounted for.
You should be able to go in your car, and you can jump in a car, go onto the ferry, go to Dominica or St. Vincent, drive off, and drive around the island, come back, So now you can plan your business a little more. It perhaps won't be useful for businessmen who need to fly in and fly out the same day, but certainly for, basically the tourists, the people from each island that like to visit each other. That's definitely going to help. So it's going to encourage what they say a whole new class of travelers. And the potential is not just tourists from overseas, it's tourists from within the Caribbean, right? And as I say, it can complement. And then, hopefully we will see some improvement in airlift as well. But the existing ferry service that we have, Express de Zille, it faces significant challenges. There's too much regulation, infrastructure problems, institutional issues, which would prevent, these ferries from really and truly being able to provide the kind of service that we need.
In an attempt to explore regional travel within the Caribbean, Richard Peterkin highlights the inherent prospect and possibility of the success of a ferry service. In all, the effective implementation of this service rests on the program's practicality and accessibility. For Choice News Now, this is Obi Offor reporting.